Good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How many students are there in your batch for this module?
Uh,
You don't know. Okay. Shall we wait for another 5 minutes until they are joined? Okay, we will wait for another few minutes. Good morning and welcome to the module Human Structure and Function for your degree, right? So I think I'm audible to you now, right? Can you hear me clearly?
Also,
Okay. So I have shared the attendance sheet into the chat box. Please consider that as well, right? So because this is our first lesson, right? So I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Ishan Timuthu. I'm also a graduate from University of Peradeniya, and I'm having a Bachelor of Nursing special uh, on speak, right? So can you please introduce yourself first, so we can, because there I think there will be limited number of students because this is a specialized module, right? So please, can you introduce yourself before starting the session?
I'm Anushi Mantika, working in Kalugala Mahavidyalaya.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Right. So in this module, we'll be discussing about basic anatomy and physiology aspects which are related to our body systems and parts, right? So while I'm doing the lecture, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask, right? So otherwise, please enter into the chat box as well, right? So I'm encouraging you to start conversations with me while I'm doing the lecture, right? Okay, so it is already 9:15. So we will start the session, right? As the course contains, after the completion of this module, you will be able to understand the structure and organization of a human body. Then you will be able to learn about the different levels of organization from cellular level to uh, organ systems level, right? Then you will be able to explore how structure relates to the functions in maintaining life. Okay. So can you please tell me what are the different levels, different organizational levels of human body as per your knowledge? So we are basically starting from atoms, then molecules, macromolecules, organelles, then cells, tissues, organs, organ systems, and organisms, right? So again, I want to mention that if my speed is too fast or if you need more clarification, please let me know. If you want the meaning in Sinhala or whatever, any explanation in Sinhala as well, please let me know, right? So first, before moving further, we will understand these two terms, the anatomy and physiology, right? So what do you mean by anatomy? It means in the anatomy, it is kind of a scientific study of our structure of living organisms, especially humans, right? Maybe animals or plants, right? So the term anatomy, it focuses on how the body is built. It means the shape, the size, arrangement of organs, our tissues and systems, right? So uh, maybe you have heard different terminals related to this anatomy, right? Gross anatomy, microscopic anatomy, uh, developmental anatomy, comparative anatomy like different words, right? Similarly, uh, this term means the shape, structure, and form of our human body when it comes to humans, right? So moving to the term physiology. What do you mean by physiology? Any idea? Physiology is also another branch of the biology that studies how the parts of our living organisms, it means how our living organisms work and function, right? It means while anatomy tells us what the body looks like, physiology explains how it operates, right? It means basically the functions, right? Is it clear? Here in the physiology, the focus is it deals with processes such as breathing, blood circulation, digestion, nerve signaling, muscle contraction, and other processes, right? With regards to physiology, uh, I think you are familiar with different terminals, right? Cell physiology, organ physiology, system physiology, and pathophysiology like terms, right? So, as a brief, anatomy means the structure. It means what the body is. Similarly, the physiology means the function, right? It means what the body does. I think it is clear for you now, right? So, moving to human physiology, right? As I already explained in here, our body function is not fixed. It changes within normal range at different times, right? It means from the conception to birth, then birth to aging process until we until the death happens, right? Then our physical activities, our sleep, eating patterns, right? When it comes to the environmental factors, changes in the atmospheric temperature, pressure, right? Because of these various changes, our body and its internal environment and other processes has been changing, right? It is not a statistic one, right? Our body parameters, our vitals, uh, they are changing with the time being, right? But there is a range, a normal range that these processes and organs function, right? So we are going to discuss about these things, right? So in order to start, we should have a clear knowledge about the organization of the human body, right? So I already told you that organizational levels starts from atoms to then molecules, and it continues like that. So these atoms and molecules, it means the chemical level of an organism, right? Chemical level. Okay. එතකොට අපි organizational levels ගැන කතා කරනකොට structure එක ගැන identify කරගන්න අපි මුලින්ම පටන් ගන්න atoms වලින් ඉඳලා whole organism level එක දක්වා තමයි අපි කතා කරන්නේ. When it comes to the chemical level, we have to talk about atoms and molecules. එතකොට atoms and molecules කියන්නේ මොනවාද? So atom is the we know the smallest unit of matter that still keeps the properties of an element, right? එතකොට atoms කියන්නේ පදාර්ථයේ කුඩාම අණු, right? එතකොට protons තියෙනවා, neutrons තියෙනවා, electrons තියෙනවා, right? atom එකක්. එතකොට අපි hydrogen atom එකක් ගැන ගත්තොත් example එකක් විදිහට hydrogen atom එකේ තියෙන එක proton එකයි එක electron එක. ඒක තමයි basic smallest unit of matter, atom එකක් කියලා හඳුන්වනවා. Right? Then molecule. Molecule is uh, molecule is formed when two or more atoms bond together. Right? It means chemically. Right? රසායනිකව atoms එකක් හෝ කීපයක් බැඳුනට පස්සේ අපි ඒක හඳුනන molecule එකක් කියලා. Right? So when it comes to molecules, there are simple molecules and complex molecules. Right? So for an example, oxygen, which is made up of two oxygen atoms, it is a simple molecule. Right? When it comes to water, right? Water made up of two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom. It is a complex molecule, right? So the molecules are, we are referring it as the building blocks of all substances, including living organisms, right? Basic structural unit is the atom, basic building block of all substances. It means living organisms we are referred to as molecule. Okay, so this is the chemical level. Now we are moving to cellular level. In the cellular level, it means the basic unit of life, right? It means the which refers to the level of organization in our body. Here, where cells are the basic structural and functional unit of life. We are referring the cells as the basic structural and functional unit of life. Okay, that's why we are referring the cells as the building blocks of all living organisms. එතකොට සියලුම ජීවීන්ගේ building block එක විදිහට අපි හඳුන්වන්නේ සෛල. Right? So what are the key features of this cellular level? We know every living organism is made up of the cells, right? එතකොට හැම ජීවියෙක්ම හැදිලා තියෙන්නේ සෛල වලින්, right? So there are unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. Unicellular organisms means living beings with one single cell. Multicellular means there are many cells in those living organisms, right? When we consider about the cell structure, right? So most of the cells have a cell membrane, right? It means silent patale, which controls the entry and exit of substances, right? So we are going to discuss these things more in detail in coming slides, right? Then the cell membrane, cytoplasm, organelles such as nucleus, mitochondria, ribosomes, endoplasmic reticulums, and those things included under cellular level in a cell, right? When we consider about the multicellular organisms, so these cells become more specialized for different functions, right? So when we consider about muscle cells, they are specialized for movement, right? Then what about the nerve cells? Nerve cells are specialized for communication. එතකොට අපි multicellular organisms ලා ගැන කතා කරනකොට ඒවා විශේෂණය වෙලා තියෙනවා. එක එක සෛල groups විදිහට විශේෂණය වෙලා තියෙනවා විවිධ කාර්යභාරයන් සඳහා. එතකොට muscle tissue එකේ තියෙන muscle cells ගත්තට පස්සේ ඒකේ function එක වෙන්නේ movement එක. nerve cells ස්නායු සෛල ගත්තට පස්සේ එතන වෙන්නේ communication, right? So this is the cellular level. We are starting from atoms, then molecules, now cells, then we are moving to tissues, right? Tissues are the groups of similar cells performing specific functions. එක සමාන features තියෙන සෛල කිහිපයක් එකතු වෙලා මොකක් හරි විශේෂිත වූ කෘත්‍යයක් function එකක් ඉටු කරනවා නම් අපි ඒක හඳුන්වනවා පටකයක් කියලා, right? එතකොට සෛල කිහිපයක් එකතු වෙලා තමයි tissues. Then for an example, muscle tissue we can take, right? Then after tissues we are moving to organs, right? It means the structures composed of two or more tissue types. right? For an example, our heart, our lungs. එතකොට මේ ඕගන් ලෙවල් එකේදී ඕගන් එකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ අවයවයක් කියනකොට ඒකේ පටක වර්ග දෙකක් හෝ කිහිපයක් තියෙනවා. Right? Then moving to organ system level. System එකක්. In a system, group of organs working together. For an example, circulatory system, digestive system, respiratory system, nervous system, like that. They, the complete of living being, we are referring as an organism, right? Organism level. For an example, human being. This is the basic levels of structural organization, right? Chemical levels depicts from the atoms and molecules, then moving to cellular level, then the tissues, organs, systems, and finally a complete organism or living being. Okay, so you can see the example image that given in the slide, right? It starts from the chemical level, atoms and molecules, then moving to cellular level, the smooth muscle cell, then the tissues, the smooth muscle tissue, then coming to the organ level, it means the stomach. It composed of epithelial tissues, serous membranes, and muscle layers. Then the system level, it means the digestive system, right? Esophagus, liver, stomach, pancreas, gallbladder, small intestine, large intestine, and rectum. Then coming to the whole organism, right? So to study the chemical level of organization, scientists consider the simplest building blocks of matter. It means the subatomic particles, atoms, and molecules. All matter in the universe is composed of one or more unique pure substances called elements, right? Hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, calcium, and iron, right? Then the smallest unit of any of these pure substances, it means the elements, is an atom, right? I already described you this, right? So atoms are made up of subatomic particles such as proton, electron, and neutron. Two or more atoms combine to form a molecule, such as the water molecules, proteins, sugars found in living things. The molecules are referred to as the chemical building blocks of all body structures. මම explain කරන්න අර කලින් කියපු එකමයි. Atoms හැදිලා තියෙන subatomic particles වලින් proton, electron, neutron කියලා. ඒ වගේම මේ atoms දෙකක් හෝ කිහිපයක් එකතු වෙලා තමයි හැදෙන්නේ molecule එකක්. එතකොට අපි හඳුන්වනවා H2O. අපි water එක water molecule එක. ඒ වගේම proteins, විවිධ sugars, right? එතකොට අපි මේ molecules හඳුන්වනවා chemical building blocks of all body structures කියලා. Then moving to cellular level, I already mentioned you that the functional unit is the cell, right? Cell is the smallest independently functioning unit of an living organism. ස්වාධීන කුඩාම ස්වාධීන ඒකකය living organism කෙනෙක්ගේ අපි හඳුන්වනවා සෛලයක් කියලා, right? එතකොට අපි කලින් කතා කරා unicellular organisms ලා ඉන්නවා, multicellular organisms ලා ඉන්නවා, right? When it comes to the bacteria, even bacteria which are extremely small, but they are independently living organisms, right? They have also a cellular structure, right? Each bacterium is a single cell. Okay, so when we consider about our living beings, all living structures of human anatomy, it contains cells, right? And almost all functions of human physiology are performed in cells or are initiated by cells. එතකොට අපේ physiology එකේ human physiology එකේදී අපි කතා කරන සියලුම functions වගේ සිදු වෙන්නේ එක්ක සෛලයක් තුල නැත්නම් සෛලයක් ආශ්‍රිතව තමයි පටන් ගන්න. Okay, How many cells are there in a living being, human body? Can you tell? It is estimated that it is about 30 to 37 like trillion cells, right? These number of cells may be vary depending on that particular individual's age, size, sex, health, like that, right? Therefore, there are such number of cells which are organized in a way that maintains distinct internal compartments, right? So these compartments, they keep our body cells separated from external environmental threats and keep the cells moist and nourished. එතකොට මේ cells මෙච්චර බර ගාණක් වෙන cells අපේ ඇඟේ තියෙන එක එක compartments වල, right? මේ compartment වල function එක තමයි අපේ බාහිර පරිසරයෙන් එන threats වලින් මේ සෛල ආරක්ෂා කරන එක. ඒ වගේම ඒ සෛල වලට පෝෂණය සපයන එක. ඒවා moist විදිහට තියාගන්න, right? Other than that, they also separate internal body fluids from the countless microorganisms that grow on body surfaces. It means including the lining of certain passageways that connect to the outer surface of our body, right? එතකොට මේ තව function එකක් තමයි අපේ අභ්‍යන්තරයේ තියෙන විවිධ body fluids තියෙනවානේ. ඒවා විවිධාකාරයේ microorganisms ලගේ ආරක්ෂා කරගන්න එක. එතකොට අපේ body surfaces ගත්තම අපේ skin එක ගත්තම විවිධාකාරයේ ශුද්ධ ජීවීන් ඉන්නවා, right? එතකොට අපි nasal passageway එක ගත්තට පස්සේ ඒකෙත් ඉන්නවා, right? එතකොට ඒ මේ විවිධාකාරයේ passageways වලින් අපේ external environment එකයි internal environment එකයි connected, right? එතකොට මේ වගේ ආරක්ෂා කරන එකත් එතකොට ඒකේ function එක, right? For an example, we can take the intestinal tract, right? There are more bacterial cells than the total of all human cells in our human body, right? Yet these bacteria are outside the body and cannot be allowed to circulate freely inside the body. එතකොට අපි ගත්තට පස්සේ අපේ ඇඟේ තියෙන සෛල ගානට වඩා වැඩි බැක්ටීරියා සෛල ප්‍රමාණයක් තියෙනවා. හරිද? එතකොට මේ බැක්ටීරියා සෛල තියෙන අපේ outside එකේ, internal environment එකේ නෙවෙයි. එතකොට අපේ internal environment එකේ මේ බාහිර බැක්ටීරියා වලට circulate වෙන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ අපි නිදහස. Is it clear? For the participants who recently joined, I started the lecture around 9:15, I think. While I'm doing the lecture, if you have any questions, please ask, right? Other than that, I have entered through the link in the chat box. Please mark your attendance as well, right? Okay, we will continue. We were discussing from the organization levels, right? From say chemical level to the whole organism, right? From atoms to molecules. Then now we are discussing about the cellular level, right? So I already discussed that the cells have a cell membrane or plasma membrane that keeps the intracellular environment. It means the fluids, organelles which are separated from our extracellular environment. Okay. For an example, blood vessels keep blood inside a closed circulatory system. When it comes to nerves and muscles, they are also wrapped in connective tissue sheaths that separate from surrounding structures, right? Other than that, when we consider about the chest, abdomen, right, a variety of internal membranes keep our major organs such as lungs, heart, and kidneys separate from others. Okay. it is about the cellular level. Then we are moving to tissue levels, right? So cells are organized into different tissues. Several tissues form organs. Then several organs are grouped together to form organ systems, right? So what is the our body's largest organ system? It is the our integumentary system. It means which includes our skin and its associated structures. It means the hair, nails, and these things. So our surface tissue of our skin is giving us the protection. It means it works as a barrier that protects our internal structures and fluids from potentially harmful microorganisms and other toxins. Okay, then we are moving to our body systems, right? So groups of organs that perform related functions and interact to accomplish a common activity. It means which is essential to survival of the human body. එතකොට අවයව කිහිපයක් එකට එකතු වෙලා එකිනෙකට සම්බන්ධ මොකක් හරි ෆන්ක්ෂන්ස් කිහිපයක් මොකක් හරි පොදු අරමුණක් වෙනුවෙන් කරනවා නම් අපි ඒක හදනවා බොඩි සිස්ටම් එකක් කියලා. ඒ ෆන්ක්ෂන්ස් එක අපේ සර්වයිවල් එකට අත්‍යවශ්‍ය දෙයක් වෙන්න ඕන, right? For an example, metabolism, responsiveness, movement, growth and development, reproduction, like functions, right? So these body systems do not act in isolation from one another, right? So can you tell me what are the 11 body systems available in our human body? Integumentary system, it means skin, hair, nails, sweat glands, right? The function is protects our body, regulates the temperature, prevents water loss, helps to detect sensations, right? When it comes to skeletal system, it includes the organs such as bones, joints, cartilage, and ligaments, right? The function is it provides support, protection. What else? It produces blood cells stored with different minerals like calcium. Okay, integumentary system, skeletal system, the muscular system, right? When it comes to muscular system, it includes skeletal muscles, smooth muscles, and cardiac muscles, right? So, what about the function of muscular system? It enables movement. Other than that, it helps to maintain our posture. Because of the muscle contraction, it produces heat. These are the functions of muscular system. Then, nervous system. Okay, what are the organs involved here? Our brain, spinal cord, nerves, sensory organs. What about the function? Function of the nervous system? It controls body activities with electrical signals, right? The response to stimuli, coordinate actions. එතකොට අපේ nervous system එකෙන් අපේ body එකේ තියෙන විවිධ activities electrical signals හරහා control කරනවා. එතකොට මොකක් හරි උත්තේජයක් ආවට පස්සේ ඒකට ප්‍රතිචාර දක්වනවා, right? අපේ විවිධ වූ ක්‍රියාකාරකම් coordinate කරනවා. Okay, then the endocrine system. Organs are pituitary gland, thyroid, adrenal glands are there, pancreas, ovaries, testes, like that, right? So what are the functions? Endocrine means It produces hormones in order to regulate our growth, maybe for metabolism, for the reproduction, for the maintenance of what? For the homeostasis process, right? එතකොට endocrine system එකේ මේ functions වෙන්නේ hormones produce කරනවා. growth එක regulate කරන්න, අපේ පරිවෘත්තීය ක්‍රියාවලට, ප්‍රජනනයට, සමස්ථිතිය පාලනය කරන්න. Okay, like that. Then the cardiovascular system, it means the circulatory system, right? So heart organs, as organs, heart, blood vessels are there. It means arteries, veins, capillaries, all those things are involved here. So what is the function? Transportation. What? Transports oxygen, then nutrients, hormones. What else? Importantly, it removes waste products. Okay, it is about the cardiovascular system. Then I think I almost talk about 6 systems, right? What are the rest? I didn't mention. Did I mention about the respiratory system? No, right? So it involves nose, trachea, our lungs, bronchi, bronchioles, diaphragm, all these things. What is the function of the respiratory system? It brings in oxygen and removes carbon dioxide. It means the gas exchange process. Then what else? Lymphatic system is there, right? In the lymphatic system, it includes lymph nodes, lymphatic vessels, thymus, spleen, what else? Tonsils, these things, right? So the lymphatic system, it has a immune function, right? It means it protects against infections. It returns different fluids to the bloodstream, right? It filters harmful substances. These are the functions, right? Then most important system, another most important thing system is digestive system, right? It includes mouth, esophagus, stomach, intestines, liver, pancreas, gallbladder. Did I miss anything? No, right? So what are the functions? Simply breaking down of foods. Then it absorbs nutrients. Then finally it eliminates the solid waste. Okay. Then excretory system. It means the urinary system, right? What are the organs here? Kidneys, ureters, urinary bladder, urethra, right? This also removes waste products, right? Removes waste from our blood, right? Then it regulates water and electrolyte balance. Then what is the final one? Final system, reproductive system, right? So it includes male organs and female organs. Okay. As male organs, testes, prostate gland, penis, and associated glands are there, right? When it comes to female organs, ovaries are there, uterus, fallopian tubes, and vagina, right? What are the functions? Produce male gametes and female gametes. It means simply sperms and eggs, right? They supports reproduction process and the development of the offspring. Okay. So in the coming lessons, we'll be discussing about these systems in more detail, right? Then now we are going to discuss the basic functions, right? One is metabolism, right? Our basic function as an organism is to consume energy and molecules in the foods we eat. Then we are converting some of that into fuel. It means for our movements, maybe to sustain our body functions, sometimes for build and maintain our body structures, right? So there are two types of reactions how we are going to accomplish these functions, right? One is anabolism, second one is the catabolism, right? So what do you mean by anabolism? It means it is the part of metabolism that involves building up complex molecules from simpler ones, right? Yeah, it is the process whereby smaller, simpler molecules are combined to form larger, more complex substances, right? So our body can assemble by utilizing energy. It means it uses ATP, adenosine triphosphate, right? The complex chemicals it needs by combining small molecules derived from the foods you eat, right? එතකොට anabolism කියන්නේ metabolism එකේ part එක, right? එතකොට anabolism එකේදී වෙන්නේ smaller නැත්නම් simpler molecules වලින් large complex substances හදන එක, right? So as an example, this builds large complex molecules such as proteins, fats, DNA from smaller building blocks, right? So what is the function here? The anabolism helps in growth, repair and storage in our human body, right? What are the examples? I already mentioned that, right? One is protein synthesis, right? What are the building blocks of the proteins? The smallest units, amino acids, right? So the amino acids are joined to form proteins. Proteins are complex, larger substances, right? So one example of anabolism is protein synthesis. Then what about the glucose? What is the output of glucose molecules combined and form? Any idea? Glucose අණු එකතු වෙලා හැදෙන මහා අණුව මොකක්ද? Glycogen, right? Glucose වලින් හැදෙන glycogen. එතකොට අපි මේ process එක හඳුනනවා glycogenesis කියලා, right? Glucose molecules stored as glycogen in our liver and muscles, right? Then this is about organisms, right? When it comes to plants, can you mention any example for this anabolism? Photosynthesis, right? It means in plants, simple molecules, right? It means the water and carbon dioxide, CO2 and H2O combine into glucose using the sunlight. It is the photosynthesis process. It is an example of the anabolism, right? So protein. Then another example is fat synthesis, right? Fatty acids plus glycerol and it forms triglycerides. It means the stored fat, right? This is the anabolism, right? Then what about the catabolism? Anabolism means larger, more complex substances are formed from smaller, simpler molecules. Then this is the opposite of that, right? Here it is the part of metabolism where large, complex molecules are broken down into smaller, simpler ones For the anabolism, it consumes energy, but in the catabolism, this releases energy. In the process, it releases energy. It is so we can say this is like a destructive process of breakdown phase of the metabolism, right? Here, key feature is, as I already mentioned you, it releases energy, right? Energy releasing process. Catabolism is an energy releasing process, right? Because it produces ATP, right? Then in the catabolism, this breaks down macromolecules such as carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Because of this releasing energy, it provides fuel for our cellular activities. Okay, so what are the examples that we can take under this catabolism? I'm really sorry, there was a network error, right? So I will share my screen. Okay, we were discussing about the catabolism, right? So I was mentioning about these terms, right? So in the anabolism, I mentioned you the things are formed, right? Means we discussed about synthesis. මොනාරි හදනවා protein synthesis. amino acids එකතු වෙලා proteins හැදෙනවා. එතකොට අනිත් එක අනිත් example එක මම කිව්වේ glycogenesis. හරි? glycogenesis, right? එතකොට මේ genesis කියන්නේ හැදෙනවා, right? synthesis, photosynthesis. එතකොට ඒ කියන්නේ fat synthesis. ඒ කියන්නේ හැදෙනවා, right? එතකොට මම catabolism එක ගැන කතා කරනකොට මම ඔයාලට කිව්වා examples විදියට glycolysis කියලා, right? lysis කියන්නේ බිඳ වැටෙනවා, right? synthesis කියන්නේ එතකොට හැදෙනවා. genesis, synthesis කියන්නේ හැදෙනවා, right? එතකොට ග්ලයිකෝලයිසිස් කියනකොට ඔයාලා දැනගන්න ඕනේ ග්ලූකෝස් අණුවක් කැඩෙනවා කියලා. ලිපෝලයිසිස් කියනකොට ලිපෝ කියන්නේ එතකොට ෆැට් රයිට්. එතකොට breaking down of triglycerides fats තමයි එතකොට අපි හඳුන්වන්නේ ලිපෝලයිසිස් කියලා. එතකොට මම කැටබොලිසම් එකේදී කිව්වා fat synthesis කියලා. එතකොට fat synthesis එකේදී මම කිව්වේ fatty acids plus glycerol ගිහිල්ලා triglycerides හැදෙනවා කියලා. කොට fatty acids එක glycerol එකතු වෙලා glycerol එකතු වෙලා හැදෙනවා triglycerides right. එතකොට මේක තමයි anabolism එකට උදාහරණය. එතකොට මේකට ශක්තිය වැය වෙනවා right. එතකොට මේකේ අනිත් පැත්ත තමයි වෙන්නේ catabolism එකේදී lipolysis එකේදී right. එතකොට මේ triglycerides කැඩෙනවා glycerol සහ fatty acids විදිහට. එතකොට reaction එක වෙන්නේ මේ පැත්තට. මෙතනදී energy වැය වුණා, ATP වැය වුණා. catabolism එකේදී energy release වෙනවා. තේරෙනවද? So examples for the catabolism is we can take glycolysis, lipolysis, protein breakdown, right? These things. So the thing what you have to remember is in the catabolism it means breaking down. It means it releases energy. In the anabolism we are talking about the things building up, right? It means for the building up process it uses energy. For the breakdown it releases energy. So together the catabolism and anabolism they maintain metabolism balance. Okay, so we can say metabolism is the sum of all anabolic and catabolic reactions that take place in the body. Metabolism කියන්නේ දේහය තුල සිදුවන සියලුම anabolic සහ catabolic reactions වල sum එකතු. Is it clear? So both anabolism and catabolism occur simultaneously and continuously in order to keep us alive. It is about the metabolism, right? Then another function would be the responsiveness. What do you mean by responsiveness? It means it is the ability of an organism in order to adjust to changes in its internal and external environment. එතකොට අපේ දේහය මම මුලිනුත් කිව්වා මේ හැම එකම static නෑ dynamic හැම වෙලේම වෙනස් වෙනවා. එතකොට අපේ internal environment එකත් dynamic external environment එකත් dynamic. එතකොට මේ හැමදේම conditions වෙනස් වෙනවා. Right? So responsiveness is the ability of a living organism or their cells in order to detect and respond to these changes in maybe in our internal or external environment. Right? This is one of the basic characteristic of life. Right? For an example of responsiveness to external stimuli, it means we are moving toward the sources of food and water and away from perceived dangers. right? ඕනම ජීවියෙක් අතර පස්සේ කෑමක් නැත්නම් වතුර දකිනකොට ඒ වෙතට ඇදෙනවා. ඒ වගේම ඩේන්ජර් එකක් දැම්මට පස්සේ එතනින් පලා යනවා. right? So for the responsiveness this involves there should be a sensing a stimulus. ඒ කියන්නේ මොකක් හරි change එකක් අපිට sense වෙන්න ඕන. මොකක් හරි වෙනස්කම්. right? So there should be a change. Then for that particular change there should be a reaction. It means that organism should produce a response. එතකොට stimulus එකක් තියෙනවා response එකක් තියෙනවා. මොකක් හරි change එකකට reaction එකක් ඇති වෙනවා. right? So by doing that this helps to maintain homeostasis process. It means stable, maintaining a stable internal environment, internal conditions. Right? So this has to be carried out by specialized systems like the nervous system, endocrine system in our humans. Okay, so for the responsiveness, key features are there should be a stimulus, උත්තේජය. මොකක් හරි වෙනසකට උත්තේජය තියෙන්න ඕනි. ඒ වගේම ඒ උත්තේජයට නැත්නම් ස්ටිමියුලස් එකට නැත්නම් ඒ වෙනසට අනිත් පැත්තෙන් රියැක්ෂන් එකක් ප්‍රතිචාරයක් තියෙන්න ඕන. right? එතකොට මේ ස්ටිමියුලස් රෙස්පොන්ස් සිස්ටම් එක නැත්නම් චේන්ජ් රියැක්ෂන් සිස්ටම් එකකින් අපේ homeostasis එක මේන්ටේන් කරනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ අපේ ස්ටේබල් ඉන්ටර්නල් එන්වයරන්මන්ට් එක පවත්වාගෙන යන්න උදව් කරනවා. එතකොට මේ රෙස්පොන්සිව්නස් එකට මේ ක්‍රියාවලියට දායක වෙන පද්ධති තියෙනවා ස්පෙෂලායිස් සිස්ටම්ස්. එකක් තමයි අපේ නර්වස් සිස්ටම් එක, ස්නායු පද්ධතිය සහ එන්ඩෝක්‍රයින් සිස්ටම් එක. Okay. So for an example, I already mentioned you about where if we pursued a danger, where we used to get away from that danger, right? Other most popular example is pulling out of our hands from hot surface. It means as a response to heat, we are pulling our hands away, right? So when we expose to a bright light, our pupils will shrink. එතකොට දැඩි ආලෝකයකට bright දීප්තිමත් ආලෝකයකට මේ නිරාවරණය වෙනකොට අපේ pupils shrink වෙනවා. Okay. What about doing exercises? During our exercises, what happened to our heart rate? What will happen? It will increases. Okay. This is about humans or animals, right? What about the plants? This is not related to talk about plants, right? I just mentioned, right? In order to, for your understanding, right? So the sunflowers, they are turning towards sunlight, right? What about the cells? When there is an infection, assume that there is a wound and it is infected. What are the cells moving toward to that infection site? What are the cells? If there is an infection, white blood cells will be there moving toward that particular infection site. Okay. So as a summary, the responsiveness means the ability to sense changes and react to them, right? So this keeps the organism alive and adapted to the environment. Okay. Is it clear? Then we are moving to another characteristics, the movement. Okay. So human movements includes not only actions at the joints of our body, it also includes the motion of the individual organs and even individual cells. So we can define the movement as the ability of an organism or parts of it in order to change the position, its location or posture. එතකොට movement එකේදී අපි කියන්නේ මොකක් හරි ජීවියෙක්ට නැත්නම් ඒ ජීවියාගේ කොටසකට තියෙන හැකියාව එයාගේ පොසිෂන් එක මාරු කරන්න, නැත්නම් එයාගේ ලොකේෂන් එක මාරු කරන්න, නැත්නම් එයාගේ ඉරියව් posture එක මාරු කරන්න. Right? This is also a fundamental property of life. Right? So while in this moment also, red blood cells and white blood cells are moving throughout your body, right? when I'm speaking, for the speech, muscle cells are contracting and relaxing, right? For my posture, in order to maintain the sitting posture, right? Muscle cells are contracting and relaxing, right? For our vision, it's the same, right? While I'm doing the lecture, right? Different organs, different hormones and chemicals are secreting in order to regulate body functions, right? So there are different movements, right? So one is whole body movement, right? It means the whole organism is moving. It means walking, running, swimming, and etc. It means for this, it involves our skeletal muscles and bones. එතකොට අපේ skeletal muscles සහ bones ආධාරයෙන් අපි මුළු ජීවියාම move වෙනවා නම් දුවනවා, ඇවිදිනවා, පීනනවා, ඒ වගේ දේවල් එක්ක, right? Then there are types of movements in humans in our internal environment. Internal movements. It means movements of substances inside the body. For an example, of blood circulation. Because of the heart pumping, blood is circulated, right? Then the air movement is there with the breathing process. Then the food is moved, food movement. It means through the peristalsis process in the digestive tract, food is moved. Can ක්‍රම කුංචන චලන හරහා අපි කටින් ආහාරයක් ගත්තට පස්සේ ඒ movement එක digestive tract එක හරහා යන්නේ. එතකොට මේවා internal movements. Blood, air, food. Okay? So whole body movement is there. Internal movements are there. Then cellular movements are there. Cellular movements are the movements within or by cells. එතකොට සෛලයක් තුල හරි නැත්නම් සෛල මගින් හරි වෙන ඒවා. What are the examples? As I mentioned, the white blood cells. White blood cells are moving towards to the infection sites. බාහිරින් ආපු infection එකක් තියෙනවා නම්, germ එකක් තියෙනවා නම්, white blood cells ඒ වෙත යනවා. Right? Then the sperm cells. The sperm cells are swimming using their flagella. එතකොට sperm cell එක ගත්තට පස්සේ ඒකේ තියෙන flagella එක. Right? එතකොට sperm cells එක female gamete එක වෙතට යන්නේ එතකොට ඒ flagella එකේ ආධාරය. ඒවා cellular movement එක. Other than that, what are the examples? එතකොට සෛලයක් තුල cytoplasmය හරහා එක එක organelles move වෙනවා. Movement of organelles inside the cytoplasm. These are cellular movements. It means movements within or by cells. Okay, is it clear? So the importance is this helps organisms to find food, escape the dangers for the reproduction process, and to adapt to different changes. So inside our body, these movements, it ensures the transportation of gases, the nutrients, hormones, waste. Okay, so external movements are there, internal movements are there, right? For the external movements, the organism moves by themselves, walking, running like that. In the internal movements, blood flow, breathing, digestion, all these things includes, right? Is it clear? Anything to clarify further? Any concerns up to now? Okay. Now moving to the development, growth, and reproduction. What do you mean by development? So, development is the process by which an organism undergoes changes may be in form and function as it grows from conception to maturity. ඒ කියන්නේ development එක කියන්නේ process එක. right? එතකොට organism කෙනෙක් එයාගේ form එක වෙනස් කරනවා. ඒ වගේම එයාගේ functions ඒ කාලයත් එක්ක වර්ධනය වෙනකොට කාලයත් එක්ක mature වෙනකොට conception එකේ ඉඳලා වර්ධනය වෙවි යනකොට එයාගේ form එක සහ functions වෙනස් වෙනවා. මේ changes, right? Development is all of the changes the body goes through in life. ඒ විදිහට කියන්න පුළුවන්. right? So the development, it means not just getting bigger, right? එතකොට අපි ගොඩක් වෙලාවට හිතන්නේ ලොකු වෙනවා කියන එක විතරයි, right? ඒ කියන්නේ අපේ growth එක විතරක් නෙවෙයි මේ development එක කියලා අපි හඳුන්වන්නේ, right? But also becoming more complex and specialized. එතකොට අපි වර්ධනය වෙනවා කියන්නේ development එක කියලා කියන්නේ size එකෙන් ලොකු වෙන එක විතරක් නෙවෙයි. එතකොට අපි තව සංකීර්ණ වෙනවා, ඒ වගේම විශේෂණය වෙනවා, specialized වෙනවා. Is it clear? So the key features of the developments, it includes cell differentiation, right? එතකොට මුල් අවදිවල තියෙන විශේෂණය වෙච්ච නැති සෛල විශේෂණය වෙනවා. Unspecified cells are becoming specialized, right? ඒ කියන්නේ මුලින්ම තියෙන්නේ විශේෂණය නොවුණු සෛල stem cells. එතකොට ඒවා විශේෂණය වුණාට පස්සේ අපි හඳුන්වනවා muscle cells, nerve cells වගේ විවිධාකාරයෙන්, right? එතකොට මේ specialization එක නැත්නම් cell differentiation එක එතකොට මේ development කියන process එකේ key feature එක. Then there are many changes happening. It means we are referring it as morphological changes. It means the physical changes in the shape, maybe size and structure. භෞතික වෙනස්කම්. හැඩය වෙන්න පුළුවන්, size එකේ වෙන්න පුළුවන්, නැත්නම් ඒ විවයේ තියෙන changes. භෞතික වෙනස්කම්. ඒවා තමයි අපි හඳුන්වන්නේ morphological changes කියලා. Okay? Then the functional maturation. අපි කිව්වා form එක සහ function එක වෙනස් වෙනවා කියලා මෙතනදී. ඒකට functional maturation එකක් වෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ organs and systems become fully capable of performing their roles. එතකොට අපි newborn කෙනෙක් ගත්තට පස්සේ අපි හිතන්නේ preterm delivery එකක් වුණා කියලා. ඒ කියන්නේ සති ගානට කලින් ගන්න මොකක් හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙලා බබෙක් කලින් ඩිලිවර් කරා කියන්නකො ඒ ටර්ම් එක ඉවර වෙන්න කලින්. එතකොට එයාගේ lungs ටර්ම් බේබි කෙනෙක්ට වඩා මැචුවර් වෙලා තරම් මැචුවර් වෙලා නැහැ. එතකොට ෆන්ක්ෂනල් ඒ මැචුරේෂන් එක වෙලා නැහැ එයාගේ lungs. එතකොට අර බාහිර පරිසරයට මුහුණ දෙන්න තරම් සපෝට් එක ශක්තියක් එයාට නැහැ. right? එතකොට ඒකට සපෝට් එක අපි දෙන්න ඕන. right? ඒක නිසා තමයි කියන්නේ functional maturation එකක් අපිට තියෙන්න ඕන. අපි ජීවියෙක් විදියට අම්මගේ පරිසරයෙන් එළියට යනකොට ඒ ජීවියට පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනි එයාටම කියලා තනියෙන් survive වෙන්න. ඒ survival එකට එයාගේ අවශ්‍ය organs ටික, systems ටික capable වෙලා තියෙනවා. Is it clear? So as the functional maturation, organs and systems should be fully capable of performing their roles. එතකොට lungs න එයාගේ respiration එකට වාතනයට ventilation වලට තරම් mature වෙලා තියෙනවා. එයාගේ digestive system එක අර අම්මගෙන් දෙන කිරි ටික, cholesterol ටික ජීර්ණය කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන විදිහට mature වෙලා තියෙනවා. Is it clear? So as the key features of development, I already mentioned you that one thing is cell differentiation. Then there should be morphological changes. It means physical changes should be there. Then functional maturation should be achieved. Okay? කාර්යයක් කරන්න mature වෙලා තියෙනවා. Okay? So another key feature is the development is, what do you think? Is it temporary or permanent? So the development is a lifespan process. We can repeat it as a lifespan process. Why? This development, it starts at the fertilization. එතකොට male gamete එකක් female gamete එකක් එක්ක නැත්නම් sperm එකක් egg එකක් එක්ක එකතු වෙලා conception එක වුණාට පස්සේ fertilization එක වෙලා conception එක වුණාට පස්සේ birth එකට දක්වා birth එකේ ඉඳලා ඊට පස්සේ childhood adolescence adulthood එකල aging වෙනකම් යන මේ development එක කියන්නේ මේ දක්වාම යන process එකක්. ඒකයි අපි හඳුනන්නේ ඒක life span process එකක්. conception එක fertilization එකේ ඉඳලා aging වෙනකම් aging වෙලා death එක වෙනකම් යන process එක. Is it clear up to now? So there may be different changes, right? එතකොට අපි කියනවා zygote එකක් හැදෙනවා කියලා. ඒ කියන්නේ අර fertilization එක වුණාට පස්සේ හැදෙන මුල්ම සෛලගොනු zygote එක. මුල්ම සෛලය zygote එක කියලා හඳුන්වනවා. ඊට පස්සේ ඒක embryo එකක් දක්වා වර්ධනය වෙනවා. embryo එක fetus එක. ඊට පස්සේ newborn child. ඊට පස්සේ drastic changes වලට අපේ දේහය ලක් වෙන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ birth එක දක්වා වෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ adolescence එකේදී. ඒ කියන්නේ puberty එකේදී. When our body develops the reproductive capability, then our brain develops. Okay. So it is about the development. Then what do you mean by the growth? Growth means the development. Growth means the increasing size or number of cells. එතකොට growth එක කියන්නේ මොකක් හරි දෙයක සංඛ්‍යාව නැත්නම් සෛල සංඛ්‍යාව වැඩි වෙන එක. ඒ කියන්නේ quantitative measure එකක් ඒක. එතකොට development එක ගැන කතා කරනකොට මම කිව්වද එහෙම එකක්? Development එකේදී it includes growth plus changes in complexity, function and abilities. එතකොට development එකේදී growth එකත් එක්කම එයා විශේෂණය වෙනවා. එයාගේ complexity එක වැඩි වෙනවා. එයාගේ functions වැඩි වෙනවා, mature වෙනවා. එයාගේ abilities වැඩි වෙනවා. ඒක එතකොට development එක කියන්නේ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට qualitative දෙයක්. qualitative දෙයක්. ඒක measure කරන්න අපිට count කරන්න බෑ ඒ වැඩි වෙන එක. ඒ වුණාට growth එකේදී අපිට measure කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක quantitative දෙයක්. සෛල ගාන වැඩි වෙනවා. නැත්නම් අපේ බර වැඩි වෙනවා. right? ඒක growth එක. So as a summary, development means all the changes in an organism that goes through from fertilization to maturity. It includes growth, specialization and functional improvement. So development එකේ කැලක් විදිහට තමයි growth එක තියෙන්නේ. Right? So the growth is the increasing body size. එතකොට size එක. ඒක quantitative measure එක. Humans, like all multicellular organisms, grow by increasing the number of existing cells, increasing the amount of non-cellular material around cells. It means the mineral deposits in bone and within the very narrow limits, increasing the size of existing cells. Right? එතකොට growth එකේ කියන්නේ මම කිව්වා වගේ අපේ body size එක වැඩි වෙනවා. right? අපේ තියෙන සෛල ගාන දැන් තියෙන නම්බර් එකට වඩා වැඩි වෙනවා. right? ඊට අමතරව අපේ තියෙන non cellular materials තියෙනවා. එතකොට ඒ කියන්නේ අපි වයසට යන්න අපේ අස්ථිවල තියෙන mineral deposits වැඩි වෙනවා. right? Is it clear? එතකොට අපේ size එක වැඩි වෙන්න පුළුවන්, mass එක වැඩි වෙන්න පුළුවන්. නැත්නම් සම්පූර්ණ ජීවි එක ගත්තට පස්සේ ඒ ජීවිය තුළ තියෙන සෛල ගණන වැඩි වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So, is it reversible or irreversible? Usually, the growth it happens due to an irreversible cell division process. එතකොට මෙතනදී සෛල බෙදි යනවා. ඒ වගේම cell enlargement එකක් වෙනවා. මේක quantitative process එකක්. right? අපිට ඒක measure කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ organism කෙනෙක් ගත්තට පස්සේ අපේ height එක, අපේ weight එක, අපේ size එක මේ වගේ අපිට measure කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කොච්චර දුරට growth එකක් achieve කරලා තියෙනවද කියලා. okay? The most important thing is for the growth it requires nutrient and energy. එතකොට growth එකක් වෙන්න අපිට පෝෂක ඕන, ශක්තිය ඕන. right? organism කෙනෙක් නම්, ජීවියෙක් නම්, සතෙක් කියන්නකො එයාට ආහාර ඕන. plant එකක් ගත්තා නම් sunlight ඕන. right? එතකොට මේ growth process එක මේක irreversible. එතකොට අපේ දේහයේ වර්ධනය මොකක් හරි weight එකක් achieve කරාට පස්සේ, height එකක් achieve කරාට පස්සේ height එකක් achieve කරා කියන්නේ එතකොට ඒ කාලපරාසය පුරාවට ගිහිලා අපහු reversible වෙලා අර infant කෙනෙක්ගේ ගානට එන්නේ නැහැ. It means once an organism grows, right, it doesn't shrink back naturally, but there may be some special cases, right? එතකොට සමහර special විශේෂ අවස්ථා ඇරුණුකොට මේ process එක, growth කියන process එක irreversible, right? එතකොට මේ growth කියන process එක වෙනවා හැම level එකකින් වගේ. It happens at cellular level, tissue level and organ level. Okay, so for an example, right, we can say increase in height and weight during childhood and in the adolescence, right? We can say enlargement of our muscle mass with our exercises, right? So our growth of bones until the adulthood එක වෙනකම් අපේ bones වල growth එක සිද්ධ වෙනවා. එතනින් නවතිනවා. right? Is it clear? Now can you tell the difference between the growth and development? Any volunteer? What is the difference between the growth and the development? What can you say? In the growth, it increases in size or number. It means it is a quantitative thing. But in the development, all changes are included. It means qualitative plus quantitative. එතකොට development එකට growth එක අයිති වෙනවා. Growth, differentiation and maturation. All it includes in size or number. It means it is only a quantitative process, but the development, it is a mixture of things, qualitative plus quantitative. So simply, we can say growth is the body getting bigger because our cells divide and mature and multiply. Okay. Then we are moving to the next term, reproduction. Next function or characteristic. Reproduction is the biological process by which living organisms produce new individuals of the same species in order to ensure the survival and continuity of life. එතකොට මේක biological process එකක්. living organisms ලා අලුත් individuals ලා හදනවා එයාලගේ species එක maintain කරන් යන්න. කියන්නේ survival එකට එයාලගේ continue ඒ විශේෂය ඉස්සරහට පවත්වාගෙන යන්න නව ජනිතයන් බිහි කිරීමේ ක්‍රියාවලිය. So this is one of the most important characteristics of living things. Okay, so when it comes to reproduction, we can say there are two types: a sexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. A sexual reproduction means it involves only one parent, right? For in the sexual reproduction, there are no fusion of gametes. එතකොට sex cells වල එකතුවක් වෙන්නේ නැතුව වෙන reproduction. එතකොට මේ වෙන්නේ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට බැක්ටීරියා වල වගේ දේවල්. right? එතකොට අපි කතා කරන්න වෙන්නේ sexual reproduction එක ගැන. It means there should be two parents involved. Right? Therefore, this involves fusion of male gamete and female gametes. The sperm plus egg. So, what will happen? Offsprings are genetically varied. Right? The process is slower, but diversity will be more increased. Okay, so what is the importance here? As I already mentioned you that this ensures the continuity of the species. This maintains a population balance, right? Most importantly, this provides a genetic variation. ඒ කියන්නේ sexual reproduction එකේදී genetic variation එකක් ඇති වෙනවා. විවිධත්වය. Right? So this genetic variation is the key for our evolution and adaptation. Okay, is it clear? So I gave you a brief about the characteristic features of the life, right? Then initially we started from chemical level, atoms, molecules, cells, tissues, organs, systems, and to organisms, right? So I gave you a brief introduction about these 11 systems as well, right? So now we are going to talk about body cavities and organization, right? So before starting this, we will have a 5-minute break, right? It is 10:33 now. We'll be continuing from 10:38, right? Take a 5-minute water break. Okay, shall we continue? Okay, so what are the body cavities? Cavity का क्या नाम होगा? कुहर, right? So body cavities are the large hollow spaces within our body that house and protect our internal organs. එතකොට hollow කුහරයක් වගේ මොකක් හරි spaces එකක් අපේ දෙහය තුල තියෙන. එතකොට ඒකෙන් අපේ internal organs ආරක්ෂා කරනවා. ඒ වගේම මොකක් හරි organ එකකට වගේ ඊට පහසුකම් සලසනවා. Right? So these body cavities allow organs to move or expand and sometimes contract without damaging each other, right? So what are the major body cavities? So in our dorsal side, we can අපේ back side එක ගත්තට පස්සේ අපේ දෙහේ back side පිටුපස හරිය ගත්තට පස්සේ අපිට කතා කරන්න පුළුවන් cranial cavity එක තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ cranial cavity එක ඇතුළත තමයි අපේ brain එක තියෙන්නේ. ඒක තමයි අපි හඳුන්වන්නේ cranial cavity කියලා. Then spinal cavity. එතකොට අපේ spinal cavity එක තියෙනවා. Spinal cavity එක තියෙන්නේ ඇතුළේ තමයි අපේ spinal cord එක තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට dorsal cavity එකේ cranial cavity එක තියෙනවා, spinal cavity එක තියෙනවා. So these cranial cavity and spinal cavity, they protect our central nervous system. අපේ මධ්‍ය ස්නායු පද්ධතිය ආරක්ෂා කරන්නේ මේ dorsal body cavity දෙක, එකක් cranial cavity එක, අනිත් එක spinal cavity එක. අපේ ventral body cavity, ventral body එක ගත්තට පස්සේ, ඒ කියන්නේ ඉස්සරහා පැත්ත front side එක ගත්තට පස්සේ එතන තියෙනවා thoracic cavity. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි chest පපුවත් එක්ක තියෙන thoracic cavity. So here in the thoracic cavity it includes pleural cavities. Right? So pleural cavity ඇතුළේ තමයි අපේ lungs තියෙන්නේ. Then mediastinum. එතකොට mediastinum කියන්නේ අපේ ස්පේස් එක lungs දෙක අතර මැද තියෙන space එක අපි හඳුන්වනවා mediastinum කියලා. එතකොට මේ mediastinum එක පිටිපස්සේ තමයි තියෙන්නේ අපේ heart එක, esophagus එක, trachea එක, thymus එක, මේ ටික තියෙන්නේ මේ mediastinum එක ඇතුළේ. එතකොට thoracic cavity එකට මේ ඔක්කොමයි තියෙනවා. pleural cavities, mediastinum and pericardial cavity. Pericardial cavity කියන්නේ ඒකේ තමයි අපේ heart එක තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට thoracic cavity එක ගත්තට පස්සේ pleural cavities දෙකක් තියෙනවා, mediastinum එක තියෙනවා, pericardial cavity එක තියෙනවා. Right? එතකොට ventral body cavity එකේ තියෙන major එකක් තමයි thoracic cavity එක. අනිත් එක තමයි abdominopelvic cavity. Right? එතකොට diaphragm එක මහා ප්‍රාචීරයෙන් පහළට කොටස තමයි අපිට කොට හඳුන්වන්නේ abdominopelvic cavity කියන්නේ. එතකොට එතන තියෙනවා abdominal cavity and pelvic cavity. Abdominal cavity එකේ තමයි මොනවද තියෙන්නේ? It includes stomach, intestines, liver, spleen, kidneys, pancreas, මේ ඔක්කොම තියෙන මේ abdominal cavity එකේ. Right? Then the pelvic cavity. In the pelvic cavity, it includes bladder, reproductive organs, and rectum. These are the cavities, major body cavities, dorsal part and ventral part. In the dorsal part, cranial cavity, spinal cavity. In the ventral part, thoracic cavity and abdominopelvic cavity. Okay, is it clear? Any questions? Now we are moving to basic cell functions. Right? So one thing is sensing and responding to changes in the surrounding environment. Right? Then in the cells, it controls exchange of materials between cells and its surrounding environment. It means obtaining nutrients and oxygen from surrounding environment and eliminating carbon dioxide and other waste to other surrounding environment. Then Another important functions would be performing chemical reactions that provide energy for the cells. It means what? What is the term? The metabolism process, anabolism and catabolism, right? Energy production, the transportation, communication, growth, reproduction, responsiveness, excretion. All these things are basic cell functions, right? So let's see for these functions how the structure has been developed for this process. So what do you mean by prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell? What is the difference? Prokaryotic cell means simple cells without a true nucleus or membrane bound organelles. එතකොට prokaryotic side කියලා හඳුන්වන්නේ ඇත්ත true න්‍යෂ්ටියක් නැති membrane bound organelles නැති. එතකොට organelles වල පටලයක් නැති ඒවා. Right? ඒ වගේ side තමයි අපි හඳුන්වන්නේ prokaryotic cells කියලා. එතකොට මේවා නිකම්ම simple cell division එකකින් ඇති වෙන side. ගොඩක් වෙලාට බැක්ටීරියා සහ ආකි බැක්ටීරියා වල තමයි මේ prokaryotic side තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට අපේ තියෙන්නේ මොනවද? Eukaryotic cells. These eukaryotic cells are complex, larger cells with a true nucleus and many membrane-bound organelles are there, right? So when we consider about the DNA, right? Our DNA are linear and enclosed within the nucleus, right? When we consider about the organisms, the animals, plants, fungi, protists, there are eukaryotic cells, right? There is a plasma membrane, there is a nucleus with DNA and nucleolus, mitochondria are there for energy production, endoplasmic reticulum, ER, SER, Golgi apparatus, lysosomes, peroxisomes, cytoskeleton, ribosomes. In prokaryotic cells, ribosomes are small. In eukaryotic cells, ribosomes are large, right? So in eukaryotic cells, cell division is where the mitosis process and meiosis process for gametes. Okay, so please go through this slide, right? So you can see major organelles in an eukaryotic cell, right? As you can see, there is the nucleus with nucleolus is there, chromatins, nuclear probe, nuclear envelope is there. Okay, so eukaryotic cells, DNAs, chromosomes are linear, right? Then ribosomes are there, ribosomes are large, right? This is a in eukaryotic cells, we are referring this nucleus as true nucleus because DNA is inside. Okay, so all of these organelles are membrane. Most of the organelles are membrane bound organelles. Okay, so you can see the mitochondria. This is the plasma membrane. Cytoplasm is there. SCR, RER are there. Golgi complex, ribosomes. These are the major organelles, right? So we are going to discuss about these organelles one by one. First, we are going to discuss about the endoplasmic reticulum. What is this endoplasmic reticulum? This is actually a network of membranous tubules and sacs inside the cell cytoplasm, right? This acts as a transportation system of the cell. It means moving materials like proteins and lipids to different parts, right? There are two types: rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum, right? First, when we consider about the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, we are referring it as smooth because in the appearance, in the structure, there are no ribosomes on its surface. ඒ කියන්නේ image එක ගත්තට පස්සේ here in the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, you see there are no ribosomes attached. But in this area, as you can see this space, this is smooth, but here ribosomes are attached. So it has a rough appearance. That's why we are referring this SCR as smooth and RER as rough endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, so in the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, the major functions are synthesizing lipids. It means fats, phospholipids, and steroids. And another function is it detoxifies various drugs and harmful substances, right? This also stores calcium ions, right? So as an example, when we consider about our liver cells, they have more abundant SCRs for detoxification. අපේ liver එකේ ප්‍රධාන කෘත්‍යයක් තමයි විෂහරණය කියන්නේ detoxification. එතකොට අපේ liver එකේ වැඩිපුර තියෙනවා මේ smooth endoplasmic reticulums. Okay. Then moving back to RER, rough endoplasmic reticulum. When we consider about the structure, I already told you that there are ribosomes attached on its surface. That's why it is making it rough. Okay, what are the functions? One thing is because of these ribosomes, this synthesize proteins, right? This synthesize, then modifies and folds proteins. Protein modify karna, fold karna, namana, right? Then ඒ කියන්නේ protein එක ගත්තට පස්සේ protein වල ව්‍යුහයන් තියෙනවා. primary, secondary, tertiary කියලා. right? එතකොට ඒව විකරණය වෙවි යනවා ඉස්සරහට. ඒ විකරණය කරන්න දායක වෙනවා. right? Then after this process, it sends proteins to Golgi apparatus for packaging. Okay. So these are the functions. Is it clear? Then the second type of organelle we are going to discuss is Golgi bodies or Golgi apparatus, right? These are stacks of things you can remember. These are the Golgi bodies or Golgi complex, right? So these Golgi bodies, they are stacks of flattened membrane bound sacs inside the cells. Stacks again, him layers, right? Stacks, right? Stacks of flattened membrane bound sacs inside the cell, right? So as I mentioned you, as in the RER here, this helps to packaging and shipping center, as a packaging and shipping center. එතකොට මේ Golgi apparatus වලින් කරන්නේ package කරන්න සහ shipping center එකක් විදිහට ක්‍රියා කරනවා. Okay. Is it clear? So the functions of these Golgi bodies would be, one thing is protein modification. ඒ කියන්නේ proteins වලට සමහරවිට carbohydrate add කරනවා. නැත්නම් lipids add කරනවා. right? So protein modification, one function, right? Another thing is sorting and packaging. It means this Golgi bodies sends proteins and lipids to correct destinations. ඒ කියන්නේ සෛලයක් ඇතුළත නැත්නම් සෛලයෙන් පිටතට එක ප්‍රෝටීන් වර්ග යවන්න ඕනි ප්‍රෝටීන් එක තීරණය කරගෙන ඒක send කරනවා. Then this also for vesicles. It means this produces secretory vesicles. කියන්නේ ශ්‍රාවී ද්‍රව්‍ය අඩංගු vesicles. කියන්නේ ඒවා ඇතුළේ තියෙන්න පුළුවන් සමහරවිට lysosomes වගේ විවිධ දේවල් අඩංගු vesicles හදන නිපදවන. Then secretion process, right? එතකොට ශ්‍රාවී කෘත්‍යයකුත් ඉටු කරනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ එතකොට මේ Golgi apparatus වලින් නැත්නම් Golgi bodies වලින් විවිධාකාරයේ substances ශ්‍රාවය කරලා යවනවා. enzymes වෙන්න පුළුවන්, hormones වෙන්න පුළුවන්, සමහර වෙලාවට mucus වගේ දේවල් ශ්‍රාවය කරනවා. So what are the functions? One thing is protein modification, then sorting and packaging, formation of different vesicles, and secretion. These are the functions. Okay, for an example, our pancreatic cells use these Golgi bodies in order to package insulin for secretion. එතකොට අපේ pancreatic side වලදී මේ Golgi bodies use කරනවා insulin ශ්‍රාවය කරන්න package කරන්න. Okay. එතකොට උදාහරණයක් ගත්තට පස්සේ මේක නිකන් post office එකක් වගේ, right? එතකොට Golgi bodies ඒවා protein ලබා ගන්නවා. protein සහ lipids මම අර මුලින් ER ගැන කතා කරලා තිබේ. protein සහ lipids ER එකෙන් ගන්නවා. ඒව කරලා ඒව modify කරනවා. ඒකල ඒව package කරනවා. ඒකල ඒව ship කරනවා. නැත්තම් ඒ protein ඕනි තැනට එයා supply කරනවා. කොට මේක තමයි process එක. Is it clear? Any questions up to now? No, right? Now moving to lysosomes. Lysosomes are small membrane-bound organelles filled within different digestive enzymes, right? So, since it includes digestive enzymes, the function is breaking down waste materials, breaking down different worn out cell parts, and most of the time foreign substances. එතකොට lysosomes වලින් කරන්නේ digestive enzymes තියෙනවා මේ වගේ. ඒක නිසා අපේ තියෙන waste materials නැත්නම් ගෙවිලා ගියපු සෛලේ කෑලි ඊට අමතරව පිටතින් එන foreign substances මේවා break down කරනවා, right? එතකොට structure එක ගත්තට පස්සේ lysosome එක කියන්නේ single membrane sac, තනි පටලයකින් හැදිච්ච sac එකක්, right? So it includes different enzymes, proteases, lipases, nucleases, and etc. Right? So most of the time these lysosomes works best in acidic conditions. Acidic conditions වල තමයි හොඳට මේක වැඩ කරන්නේ. So what are the functions of a lysosome? I already mentioned you that breaking down waste materials, right? So one function would be intracellular digestion. It means these lysosomes break down food particles and all cell components. එතකොට in සෛලයක් තුල digestion එක කරනවා. එතකොට සෛලයක් තුල තියෙන විවිධ ඒකට අවශ්‍ය පෝෂණයට අවශ්‍ය food particles නැත්නම් ඒ සෛලයේම තියෙන ගෙවිලා ගිය පරණ components digest කරනවා. Then the defense, it means the protective mechanism, right? These lysosomes destroy bacteria, viruses, or other toxins that enter the cell. කොට සෛලයක් ඇතුළට ආපු බැක්ටීරියාවක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, වෛරස් එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, නැත්නම් වෙන විසක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒවා සෛලයේ ආරක්ෂාව සඳහා ඒවා විනාශ කරන එක කරනවා. එතකොට intracellular digestion එකක් වෙනවා, defense එකක් තියෙනවා. Okay. Then sometimes it perform a function which calls as autolysis. It means think if the cell is damaged beyond its repair. එතකොට සෛලය එයාට repair කරගන්න බැරි තත්යකට damage වුණාට පස්සේ මේ සෛලය තුල තියෙන lysosomes they burst and digest the entire cell. එතකොට සෛලය එයාගේ තියෙන capacity එකට repair කරගන්න බැරි තරම් damage එකක් වුණොත් මේ lysosomes වල තියෙන enzymes ටික එයා lysosome එක පුපුරලා burst වෙලා ඒ enzymes release වෙනවා සෛලය තුලට සෛලය පුරාවට එකල ඒ entire සෛලය cell එකම digest වෙනවා. ඒක තමයි අපි හඳුන්වන්නේ autolysis කියලා. එතකොට ඒකත් මේ lysosome වල function එකක්. Okay, for an example, when we consider about the white blood cells, right? So these lysosomes digest harmful microbes in the white blood cells. When we consider about the liver cells, right? These lysosomes may help to break down old red cells. Okay, so as a summary, we can say these lysosomes, they digest, recycle and remove waste. Okay, then we are going to talk about the one of the most important organelle. It is the mitochondria. We are referring it as the powerhouse. This is a double membrane bound organelle which found in almost all eukaryotic cells, right? So the main role is producing energy. What is the process? In mitochondria, it produces energy through cellular respiration. සෛලීය ශ්වසනය මගින් ATP නිපදවීම තමයි එතකොට ප්‍රධාන කාර්යභාරය වෙන්නේ මේ මයිටොකොන්ඩ්‍රියා වල. එතකොට මේක ද්විත්ව පටල double membrane organelle එකක්. එතකොට outer membrane එකක් තියෙනවා, inner membrane එකක් තියෙනවා. Right? එතකොට මයිටොකොන්ඩ්‍රියාවේ outer membrane එක ගොඩක් වෙලාවට smooth. So go back to the image. So I think you can see this is the mitochondria here. In this is the outer membrane. I think you can see it, right? So in this outer membrane, it is smooth, right? Because of this smoothness, it allows passage of small molecules through this outer membrane. But here, as you can see, එතකොට මයිටොකොන්ඩ්‍රියා අතර වස් මෙහිම outer membrane එකක් තියෙනවා. එතකොට inner membrane එක මෙන්න මේ විදිහට fold වෙලා තියෙන, නැමිලා තියෙන, ඇතුළට නැමිලා තියෙන. Right? So outer membrane is smooth. Outer membrane එක සිනිඳුයි. ඒක නිසා ඇතුළට small molecules එන්න ඉඩ දෙනවා. Inner membrane එක ගත්තට පස්සේ highly folded. These are highly folded. We are referring it as cristae, right? එතකොට ඇතුළත පටලය ගත්තට පස්සේ ඒක දිගට නැමිලා ගිහිල්ලා තියෙනවා. මේකෙන් වෙන්නේ advantage එක තමයි surface area එක වැඩි කරගෙන තියෙනවා. එතකොට මේ energy reactions වෙන්න surface area එක වැඩි කරගන්න තියෙන trick එකක් විදිහට මෙයාගේ inner membrane එක මේ විදිහට highly folded nature එකක් තියෙනවා. එතකොට මේ මයිටොකොන්ඩ්‍රියාව ගත්තට පස්සේ fold වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට මේ මැද space එක, right? මේ space එක අපි හඳුන්වනවා mitochondrial matrix කියලා, right? It is a fluid filled space. It also includes different enzymes, mitochondrial DNA, and ribosomes, right? So this is the outer membrane, this is the inner membrane, this is the mitochondrial matrix, fluid-filled space, right? They, as I already mentioned, this mitochondria, it composed of its own DNA and ribosomes. එතකොට මයිටොකොන්ඩ්‍රියාවට පුළුවන් එයාටම ඕනි proteins නිපදවන්න. එයාට ribosomes තියෙනවා, එයාටම කියලා DNA එකක් තියෙනවා. Okay, so what are the functions of this mitochondria? What are the functions? Most important thing is ATP production. It means this convert glucose and oxygen into ATP via the cellular respiration process, right? So in the mitochondria, it convert glucose in the cellular respiration process, right? So glucose plus oxygen, what is the result? Carbon dioxide, water, plus our most important product is ATP, right? So ATP production in the process of cellular respiration. Then heat is also produced in some mitochondrial reactions, right? It generates heat in our brown fat tissues, right? Then there is another function, storage function, right? So in order to help regulate our calcium levels in cells, it also stores calcium as well, right? Then these mitochondria, it involved in our fatty acid and amino acid metabolism as well. So as a summary, we can say as mitochondria as a powerhouse of the cell, right? It generates most of the cell's energy, right? It has a another important fact is mitochondrial DNA is passed from mother to child. Maternal inheritance is there. Okay, is it clear up to now? Then about the cytoskeleton, right? Cytoskeleton is a network of protein fibers inside the cytoplasm, right? That gives the cell shape, it supports movement and organization of the organelles, right? In the cytoskeletons, as the main components, there are microfilaments, and microfilaments are there, intermediate filaments are there, and microtubules are there, right? So these microfilaments, it means actin filaments. They are thin, flexible fibers made up of actin protein, right? So this maintains cell shape, helps in the cell movement, and aids in the cell division, actin filaments, right? Then there are intermediate filaments, right? These intermediate filaments, they provide the mechanical strength for the cell, right? It also helps to anchor organelles. It means to hold the nucleus in one place. Then by doing that, it maintains the cell's stability, these intermediate filaments. Then there are microtubules. These microtubules are the hollow tubes made up of tubulin proteins. So the functions are they form spindle fibers during the cell division. Can mitosis එකේදී meiosis එකේදී spindle fibers හදන්නේ මේ microtubule. Okay, they provide tracks for the movement of organelles and vesicles. එතකොට organs organelles සහ vesicles move කරන්න හදලා පාර හදලා දෙන්න. Okay, So in generally, we can say that as the functions of the overall cytoskeleton, it maintains the cell's shape and structure. සෛලයේ හැඩය සහ ව්‍යුහය පවත්වාගෙන යන්න දායක වෙන එක තමයි ප්‍රධාන කෘත්‍යයක් වෙන්නේ. ඊට අමතරව it provides internal transport. It is like a railway system, right? එතකොට transportation system එක, internal transportation system එක හදලා දෙනවා. Okay. So I already mentioned you that in spindle formation, this helps in cell division. සෛල බෙදීමේදී spindle තන්තු හැදෙන එකෙන් spindle formation එකේදී cell division එකට දායක වෙනවා. Okay, this also enables the movement of cells and organs. Okay, is it clear? Then nucleus. In a cell, it is the most obvious one, right? It enclosed in a double membrane with pores, right? As you see a cell, right? You can see it is the large membrane-bound organelle that contains cells' genetic information, genetic material. It means the DNA, right? So this control all cellular activities. We can say the nucleus as the control center or brain of the cell, right? In a nucleus, there is a nuclear envelope. Nuclear envelope is the double membrane which surrounds the nucleus. එතකොට nucleus එක වට කරගෙන තියෙන ද්විත්ව දාමය අපි හඳුනනවා nuclear envelope එක කියලා. So in this nuclear envelope, it has nuclear pores. සිදුරු තියෙනවා. These pores allow the exchange of materials. It means RNAs, proteins between the nucleus and the cytoplasm. එතකොට nucleus එකයි cytoplasm අතර material හෝ මාරුවට RNA වෙන්න පුළුවන්, විවිධ protein වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකට තමයි මේ nuclear pores දායක වෙන්නේ. Then nuclear plasm, or we are saying as nuclear sac, right? It means it is like jelly-like fluid inside the nucleus, right? This fluid, it suspends the chromatin and nucleolus. එතකොට nucleoplasm එක කියලා හඳුන්වන්නේ අර jelly වගේ fluid එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒකේ තමයි chromatin ටික ගිලිලා තියෙන්නේ. Then the chromatin. Chromatin means DNA plus histones, proteins, right? So this chromatin exists as euchromatin and heterochromatin. So euchromatin කියන්නේ loosely packed දේවල්. ඒ කියන්නේ transcription එකේදී active වෙනවා. Heterochromatin කියන්නේ densely packed, ඝනව pack වෙලා තියෙන ඒවා inactive. එතකොට ඊට අමතරව තියෙනවා nucleolus එක. nucleolus එක කියන්නේ න්‍යෂ්ටිය තුල තියෙන dense structure එක, ඝන structure එක. කොට මේ nucleolus එකේ තමයි කරන්නේ මොනවාද? It produces ribosomal RNA, rRNA, and assemble ribosome subunits. කොට මේව තමයි nucleus එකක් ඇතුළත තියෙන්නේ. nuclear envelope එක තියෙනවා, nuclear plasm එක තියෙනවා, chromatin තියෙනවා, nucleolus එක තියෙනවා. So what are the functions? One thing is having a genetic control. It means because it stores the DNA, right? It can instruct for protein and traits, protein production and traits, right? Then the nucleus, this has a function of regulation of activities. It means this controls the growth, metabolism, and reproduction as well. So one thing is genetic control, the second one is regulation of activities, then the third one is protein synthesis. So in the nucleus, it sends messenger RNA It means mRNA to ribosomes for protein production. එතකොට protein එකක් හදන්න කියලා protein synthesis process එකේදී messenger RNA එක යවන්නේ ribosomes වලට nucleus, right? Then the cell division. So in the cell division, DNA replicates in the nucleus before mitosis and meiosis, right? What is සෛල විභාජනයේදී, right? එතකොට DNA nucleus එක ඇතුළත තමයි මුලින්ම replicate වෙන්නේ. mitosis එක හරි meiosis එක හරි වෙන්න කලින් ඇතුළතදී බෙදෙනවා. Then ribosome production was another function of the nucleus, right? As I told you earlier, in the nucleolus, it makes ribosomal component. So, the nucleus it controls the room of the cell. It stores DNA, makes RNA, builds ribosomes, and it tells the cell what to do. Okay, is it clear? So it is about the organelles, right? Now we are moving to cell membrane, right? So cell membrane, it is a thin flexible barrier that surrounds the cell. What is a cell එක වටේට තියෙන thin flexible barrier එකක් තමයි මේ plasma පටලය කියලා හඳුන්වන්නේ, සෛල පටලය, right? So this cell membrane, it separates the inside. කොට සෛලයේ ඇතුළත environment එක අපි හඳුන්වන්නේ cytoplasm එක කියලානේ. ඒක outside environment එකකින් වෙන් කරන්නේ මේ cell membrane, right? So this is selectively permeable. Our cell membrane is selectively permeable. What does that mean? It means cell membrane allows some substances in and out while blocking others. එතකොට මේ plasma පටලේ selectively permeable කියන්නේ එයා තෝරාගත් particles වලට විතරයි සෛලයෙන් ඇතුළට එන්න දෙන්නේ සහ පිටතට යන්න දෙන්නේ. ඊට අමතරව ඒ selective දේවල් අරෙන්න වෙන දෙයක් යන්න try කරනවා නම් ඒව block කරනවා. ඒක තමයි කියන්නේ selectively permeable. Okay. So the structure of the cell membrane, it composed of a phospholipid bilayer. Phospholipid ද්විත්ව දාමයකින් තමයි මේක හැදිලා තියෙන්නේ. Right? So because of this phospholipid bilayer, it makes the membrane more flexible and self-healing. Okay. එතකොට සෛල පටලේ phospholipid bilayer එකක් තියෙනවා. Other than that, it includes proteins, right? So there are two types of proteins in a cell membrane. There are integral proteins and peripheral proteins. Integral proteins means it spans across the membrane. එතකොට membrane එක පුරාවට විහිදිලා ගිහිල්ලා තියෙනවා තමයි integral protein කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ ඇතුළට හරහා ගිහිල්ලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට transportation එකට දායක වෙනවා channel එකක් විදිහට මේ integral proteins ක්‍රියා කරනවා. ඊට අමතරව plasma පටලේ මතු පිට surface එකේ තියෙන ඒවා තමයි අපි හඳුන්වන්නේ peripheral proteins කියලා. Right? එතකොට so these peripheral proteins, they are act upon signaling and support, right? So in the structure, there is a phospholipid bilayer, there are integral proteins and peripheral proteins, then there are cholesterol, right? So this cholesterol, it provides the stability and flexibility for the plasma membrane, cell membrane, right? Then there are also some carbohydrates which are attached to proteins or lipids. So we are referring them as glycoproteins or glycolipids. So what is the functions of these carbohydrates, glycoproteins and glycolipids? These special glycoproteins and glycolipids, they functions in cell recognition. Like they are like ID tags for these cells. Okay, this is the structure, right? So you can see these are the integral proteins, transport proteins, right? So ඒ කියන්නේ මේ පටලේ පුරාවටම ගිහිල්ලා තියෙන, right? ඊට අමතරව තියෙනවා surface එකේ තියෙන ඒවා glycoproteins, right? So මේක තමයි phospholipid bilayer එක, right? Carbohydrates තියෙන, cholesterols තියෙන. Okay, is it clear? So what are the functions? One is these membrane proteins vary from cell to cell and have a number of functions, right? So one thing is selective transportation, right? Through the cell membrane, it controls entry and exit of materials, as I already mentioned you that, right? So oxygen, carbon dioxide, nutrients, waste, they selectively transport, right? Then protection. It means the cell membrane acts as a barrier against harmful substances, right? Then it has communication function, right? Why is that? So the receptor proteins receive signals, means hormones, neurotransmitters, like that. So there are receptor proteins, right? Then I mentioned you that there are certain carbohydrates that act as ID tags for the cell recognition, right? So cell recognition is also another important function of the cell membrane, right? So this cell recognition, it helps our immune system to identify what are its own unique cells and foreign cells. එතකොට අපේ immune system එකට උදව් කරනවා මේ තියෙන එක එක කාබෝහයිඩ්‍රේට් වර්ග. එතකොට එයාගේම cells මොනවාද, බාහිරින් foreign cells මොනවාද කියලා identify කරලා ඒවා foreign ඒවා නම් ඒවා destroy කරන්න දායක වෙනවා, right? Then there is a structural support. So this cell membrane, it maintains the cell's shape and anchors the cytoskeleton. Okay. So I already mentioned you about the transportation, right? So there are two types, right? Passive transportation and active transportation, then exocytosis and endocytosis, right? So here in the passive transportation, substances are transported by diffusion, සරල විසරණය නැත්නම් osmosis, right? එතකොට මේ සරල විසරණය සහ osmosis නැත්නම් diffusion and osmosis එක passive කියන්නේ එතනදී ශක්තිය වැය වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඊට අමතරව තියෙනවා active transportation. Active transportation එකේදී අනිවාර්යෙන් ATP ඕන. ඊට අමතරව දේවල් ට්‍රාන්ස්පෝර්ට් වෙන්න පුළුවන් මේ හරහා ක්‍රම දෙකකට. එකක් endocytosis, අනිත් එක exocytosis. එතකොට endocytosis කියන්නේ ඇතුළට ගන්න, bulk movement in. exocytosis කියන්නේ සෛලය ඇතුළතින් එළියට යවනවා. Okay, එතකොට මේ transportation එකේදී අපි කිව්වා මේක වෙන්නේ selective permeable barrier එකක් කරා. එතකොට මේකේ තියෙනවා proteins, transport proteins. එතකොට simple ion channels තියෙනවා, carriers තියෙනවා. එතකොට simple ion channels කියන්නේ මේවා හැම වෙලේම මේ gate එක open වෙලා තියෙන, open gate එක. එතකොට ඒ හරහා අයන යන්න උදව් කරනවා. ඊට අමතරව මේ සමහර proteins තියෙනවා, ඒවා අපි හඳුනන carriers bind ion scale. එතකොට මේ වගේ මේවා හරහා move වෙන්නේ chemical එකක් හරි නැත්නම් electrical gradient එකක් හරහා. එතකොට රසායනිකව නැත්නම් විද්‍යුත් electrical gradient එකක් හරහා. එතකොට මෙතනදී අර ATP වැය වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මේක අපි හඳුනන facilitated diffusion එකක් කියලා. simple diffusion සරල විසරණය නෙවෙයි facilitated diffusion. ඊට අමතරව තියෙනවා carriers, other carriers. It means sodium, potassium, ATPs. To transport ions against chemical or electrical gradient. එතකොට රසායනික නැත්නම් electrical gradient එකට විරුද්ධව යන. එතකොට මෙතනදී තමයි ATP ඕනේ වෙන්නේ. එතකොට වැඩි concentration තියෙන එක තැනක ඉඳලා අඩු concentration එකකට යනවනම් ඒක passive යන්නේ. එතකොට අඩු concentration තියෙන තැනක ඉඳලා වැඩි concentration තැනකට මොකක් හරි particle එකක් යවනවනේ ඒක අපි energy වැය කරලා යවන්නේ. එතකොට මේක තමයි අපි හඳුන්වන්නේ electrical gradient එකක් නැත්නම් chemical gradient එකකට විරුද්ධව යනවා නම් ඒක අපි හඳුන්වනවා active transportation එකක් කියලා. Right? So I already discussed you about the phospholipid bilayer. Right? So the transportation through the cell membrane done in these measures I already discussed. Right? Simple diffusion, facilitated diffusion, the osmosis, active transport. So active transport, there are primary and secondary. Then the processes, exocytosis, out of the cell, endocytosis into the cell. Right? Is it clear up to now? Anything to be clarified further? No, right? So now I'm going to discuss about the interaction between these systems. Right? We already discussed that human body consists multiple organ systems that work in harmony in order to maintain the health and homeostasis. Right? So each system has specific functions, but they relies on others for optimal performance. So how do these systems work together in order to maintain homeostasis? එතකොට කොහොමද මේ systems එකිනෙකට මත යැපෙන්නේ කොහොමද මේවා එකකට එකක් වැඩ කරන්නේ? එතකොට කොහොමද මේ homeostasis කියන එක maintain කරන්නේ? So before that, first tell me what is homeostasis? Homeostasis is the process by which our body maintains a stable internal environment despite the changes in the external environment. එතකොට අපි අපේ දේහය තුළ කොහොමද stable internal environment එකක් පවත්වා ගන්නේ කොච්චර බාහිර පරිසරයේ වෙනස්කම් වුණත්. මේක තමයි homeostasis කියලා හඳුන්වන්නේ. Okay, so what is the optimal body temperature range? Normal body temperature range? 37 degrees Celsius, right? If hot, what will happen? Through the sweating, we are cooling the body, right? If we are exposed to extreme cold, what will happen? Obviously, we'll be shivering, right? Through the shivering, it generates heat. How do we maintain optimal blood glucose level? It is controlled by insulin and glucagon. What about the blood pressure? our heart, our blood vessels, they adjust to maintain stable flow. Then, what about our water balance? What is the responsible organ? Kidneys, right? So kidneys regulate our water and salts in order to prevent dehydration and overhydration. What about the pH? In our body, we are trying to keep our blood pH around 7.35 to 7.45. So in order to maintain this pH balance, there are buffers. Then through the breathing, we are regulating our pH balance. So in order to maintain this homeostasis process, there are positive feedback mechanism and negative feedback mechanisms, right? So these body systems are interconnected, working together like a finely tuned machine, right? So the proper communication between these systems, it ensures the survival, adaptability and health mate, right? එතකොට මේ homeostasis එක හරහා අපේ ශරීරයේ විවිධ ක්‍රියාකාරකම් සාමාන්‍ය විදිහට පවත්වාගෙන යන්න දායක වෙනවා, right? එතකොට organ failure එකක් වෙන්නේ නැතුව විවිධ diseases වලින් ආරක්ෂා කරගෙන විවිධ changes, changing environments වල අපිව survive වෙන්න ඊට සලසනවා මේ systems අතර තියෙන interaction සහ මේ homeostasis process එක. So in order to identify this further, we have to have a clear idea about the form. It means the structure and function. එතකොට අපි මුලින්ම කතා කර මොකක්ද anatomy කියන්නේ මොකක්ද physiology කියන්නේ, right? එතකොට when we consider about the structure of a body part or organ is specifically designed to perform its function efficiently. එතකොට මොකක් හරි organ එක ගත්තට පස්සේ ඒකේ structure එක ඒකේ ව්‍යුහය හැදිලා තියෙන්නේ ඒ යම්කිසි මොකක් හරි function එකක් efficiently කරන්න. So forms follows function. The shape, the size and composition of a structure are directly related to the role it performs the body. එතකොට අපේ දේහය ගත්තට පස්සේ ඒකේ මොකක් හරි අවයවයක් ගත්තට පස්සේ ඒකේ හැඩය, ඒකේ size එක, ඒක හැදිලා තියෙන මොනවාගේද, composition එක, ඒ structure එක, ඒ structure එක directly relate වෙනවා ඒකේ role එකට. So form follows function. Form එක නිසා function එක ඇති වෙලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට අපේ heart එක ගත්තට පස්සේ heart එකේ muscular walls තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට ඒකේ වෙන්නේ දේහය පුරාවට අපිට රුධිරය යවන්න පුළුවන් වෙලා තියෙනවා efficiently. එතකොට අපේ lungs වල alveoli sacs ගත්තට පස්සේ තුනී පටලයක් තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට ඒ තුනී පටලය හරහා අපිට oxygen, carbon dioxide, oxygen වායු කුමාරෝ gas exchange එකට සුදුසු විදිහට ඒක විකරණය වෙලා තියෙනවා. Therefore, the design of every part of the human body, it reflects its specific role in maintaining life processes. කොට අපි කතා කරපු විවිධාකාරයේ processes කරන්න ඒකේ design එක දායක වෙලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට ඒකේ role එකට, ඒකේ function එකට, ඒකේ structure එක අනිවාර්යෙන් direct influence එකක් තියෙනවා. Is it clear? Any questions so far? Do you have any questions? Please ask. So, as a summary, right? So today, we had a brief introduction about the module, right? First, initially, we define these two terminals, right? What is anatomy? What is physiology, right? Then we started discussing about the organizational levels, right? From chemical levels, atoms, molecules, then to cellular levels, right? Then we moved, right? So then finally we discussed about the chemical level, cellular level, tissues, organs, systems. Then forms the whole organism, right? So we discussed about the 11 systems in brief, right? What else? So then we discussed about what are the key characteristics and functions of the organism. What else? We discussed about the cavities. Okay. Then we started discussing cells, right? Its organelles, the functions, the transportation, all the things, basic functions of the cell, right? They are organelles. We in detail we discuss, right? Do you have any questions?
සර් අපිට මේ ලෙක්චර් එකේ PDF එක දානවද සර්?
ඔව් මම hand out එක share කරනවා coordinator ට. එයාකින් ඔයාලට එයා ඔයාලට share කරයි.
Okay sir, thank you.
overall කොහොමද fast වැඩිද because this is the first lecture? Any feedback? fast වැඩිද මොන හරි ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවද? එහෙන් නැති ප්‍රශ්න හරි මොන හරි?
නෑ සර්, තව ටිකක් සිංහලින් කරා නම් හොඳයි කියලා හිතෙනවා ටික.
හරි. I'll keep that in mind. Okay. So no questions, right? ප්‍රශ්න නැහැ. කරන් යද්දී මොන හරි ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් ඒ වෙලාවෙම අහන්න. So then have a nice day to you all. I will share the handout with your coordinator. Thank you very much for your participation. Have a nice day to you all. We will wind up the session now. Thank you.
Have a nice day sir, thank you.
You're welcome.